Hi, I'm Natalia, and this is Experience CTN, where we're going to learn more about CTN's volunteers and producers who have supported community media over the past year. I'm here with Bill Hall and Olivia Vigiletti from Dawn Farm. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. So, Olivia, I'm going to start off with you. Can you just tell me a little bit about what Dawn Farm is?
Yeah, so Dawn Farm is a nonprofit treatment center based in Ypsilanti. We also have locations in Ann Arbor, and we treat addicts and alcoholics. And our specialty is identifying the barriers that addicts face to entering the recovering community and breaking those down. So because of that, we never turn people away based on their inability to pay for treatment.
So it's a free service?
It's a paid service, but we offer about 20% of our residential treatment services are scholarships. So about 20% of people are there for free.
Okay. And when did Dawn Farm begin?
So we originated in 1973 in Ypsilanti. So this is our 44th year.
Oh, wow. So it's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a section of the community, like is it like geared more towards teens, adults, or is just everyone?
So we've actually grown over the past 4 decades to have a continuum of care that sort of covers everyone from teens to people who need residential. We have jail programs, we have outpatient services, transitional housing programs that include like mothers and pregnant women. We sort of try to cover all the bases.
Okay. And so what kind of services do you provide? Is it like therapy? Is it like group meetings? It's I know there's animals on the farm. I mean, it's a farm. Is it like they work with animals? What kind of services do you?
Yeah, so we offer a huge variety of services. If you come to the farm, you're part of the residential treatment program, so you live on the farm, and taking care of the animals is definitely part of life. It's sort of a cooperative living style, so they make meals together and care for the animals together. You also participate in individual and group therapy, but a huge part of our residential treatment program is ride outs. And so you go to meetings and you get to know the community and you meet people in the community who are willing to sort of mentor you and guide you into recovery in that way.
Okay. And how does video production play a role in those services?
Well, because so many people receive our services for free, we have to raise money to sort of cover those costs. So we use CTN as an advertising tool for our events and our fundraisers. We also have a huge educational program. It's our Ed series. We have an Ed series that's focused on teens called Teens Using Drugs, and we also have an Ed series that's for the general community. And we use video services to tape those and make them available to people online.
Okay, well, we actually have a clip of those services, so let's take a look.
Dawn Farm was founded in 1973 by 2 men with a vision, using the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous and a rented farmhouse in Ypsilanti.
The first thing is you have to decide, if you're looking to treat addiction, you have to decide what you're looking for.
The epidemic of opioid misuse is having a catastrophic impact on individuals, families, and communities. And our community is no exception.
Part of what you want to wrap around your understanding of relapse is there are some folks who are not thinking clearly, who will say, well, relapse is just part of it. Everybody relapses sometimes. And the answer to that question, no, it isn't really true. There are lots of people who don't relapse, okay?
A teen doesn't tell us he was truant from school to smoke marijuana, or that she performed poorly on her SATs because she was hungover.
In the United States, we tend to shoulder the entire burden of recovery on the individual. And I think that that's wrong. I think that there's almost a structural violence that occurs in the United States when it comes to the treatment of the mentally ill, and especially to people with addiction. And when I'm using the term violence, I'm using the term to mean using more force than is necessary to get the job done.
And if you're in early recovery, which again is a definition that I don't know if anyone's agreed upon what it is, but it's certainly the first few years, and you have an elective procedure, you should hold off as long as possible. And there's a number of reasons for it. Generally, the longer that people are in recovery, if they're working in recovery, there are some improvements in brain chemistry that occur over time. There's also the opportunity to develop a more strong support system over time.
I worry that the reason I'm sober is that I'm white and I'm male. And that really concerns me.
It is interesting, though, because I've never met anybody too dumb to get recovery. I have met a few people too smart.
Okay, so Olivia, we saw there that, and as you said, some of the people from Dawn Farm, including yourself, appear on our soapbox series. Can you kind of tell me when the CTN and Dawn Farm partnership began?
You know, it actually began long before I was ever there, so I'm not sure how many years it goes back. But probably 4 or 5 times a year, we use Access Soapbox to advertise our Ed series, our Teens Using Drugs series, our Ride for Recovery, and our Jamboree.
So you were on the show. You were the first one up on the clip. Can you just tell us about your experience being on Soapbox?
Oh yeah, it was great. You know, I had only worked at Dawn Farm for about 2 weeks
Wow.
when that clip came on. And so I was nervous about everything, putting on events, having a new job, everything. But when I came in, they made it super easy, showed me how to use a teleprompter, which I had never done before. The whole process, you guys just walked through with me. So it was really, really user-friendly.
Great. Do you have like a favorite memory from that production or any other kinds of productions that you've been a part of?
Honestly, my favorite part every time we do CTN is trying to identify the bashful person who's going to go on the show. There's always lots of inter-office emails like, ooh, I think Jules would be really good at this. And Jules is like, oh, I don't know, guy. You know, and whoever ends up doing it always has a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of you who've done it have looked great so far, the ones I've seen. And so you've been picking really good people to come on. Do you see video production like expanding within Dawn Farm? Like, do you see like a future for a bigger role for it?
You know, something that I don't think we expected to see when Bill started videotaping the Ed series programs and we started having those videos more available to people online is I get calls all the time from people across the country who are like, you know, my relative is an active user and I've been watching your educational videos online and I really feel like I'm getting a grasp on how to be supportive of a person who's an active user or how to be supportive of a person early in recovery. And I don't think any of us expected that. So to me, that's the biggest role that the videography plays at Dawn Farm.
Yeah, so let's talk about the education series. What exactly is it?
Yeah, so the education series is a free ongoing program that we have throughout sort of the school year. And between our Teens Using Drugs series and our sort of general education series, we have programming every week.
Oh, wow.
So twice a month we have education series programs where we bring in speakers to talk about addiction, recovery, how to be a good ally to people in the recovering community, how to not be enabling. There's sort of a wide variety of topics that we talk about, and we sort of drill into specific aspects of addiction at each of those programs. And then twice a month we have our Teens Using Drugs series, and that's always the same every month. And the first week is what to know. What do you need to know about teens who are abusing drugs or alcohol? And the second week is what to do about it. And that week they have breakout sessions, and there's sessions for adults and sessions for teens, and it's really trying to help everybody in the room understand better what's going on when teens are abusing drugs and alcohol.
So how do you select the speakers for these events? Are they therapists, doctors, former addicts?
Yeah, I mean, all of the above. Our Ed series has some sort of in-house people, therapists. Our president always does a really good program about just what is addiction. We call it Addiction 101. And then we also try to bring in people that are more known. Jeff and Deborah J are authors that live in Grosse Pointe, so they always come. We invited Dr. George Vaillant, who did the longest continuous study on one group of people, like ever in history. So we really try to reach for a wide range of people from local to across the country.
Great. So Bill, as Olivia mentioned, you actually filmed this series. Can you kind of talk about how you got started doing that?
Alicia.
Alicia?
Everything comes back to Alicia.
Yes.
Our
wonderful producer, Alicia.
Oh, yes, yes, my goddess. CTN maintains a list of volunteers, and the technical qualifications CTN can give you help with. You can come into this volunteer work with very little preparation or a technical history. Just basically show up. And from that point, she got me connected with Dawn Farm staff, and especially our Uber, our wonderful volunteer Jess. Jess makes a lot of things run around there. She is energetic and articulate, and very, very, very helpful. Good intermediary. She knows how to make the organization work. Not that there are difficulties or impediments, but she can look for places to expedite and make things work well. Okay. So beyond that, I've personally gotten a lot out of my own technical knowledge because I've been doing this a while in the same place in the same time, and if I make a mistake on week 1, oh my gosh, I get a chance to correct it on week 2 and see, oh, all right, there's a wrinkle. Time to iron that out. Oh, all right, this is fine.
So when did you get started in video production? Was it just volunteering through CTN or just before coming here?
Long time ago. One of my mother's sisters always had a camera in her hands.
Okay.
Little Brownie Hawkeye or whatever, or wind-up 8mm movie cameras. I just kind of grew up with that. Let's watch the home movies on Sunday night at Grandma's house. When my children and my grandchildren came along, well, what's the technology out there for photography, video, and so on? And I wound up going through the video production course at Washtenaw Community College.
Okay.
Very highly qualified instructors, good program. The video and the photography program are fantastic. So that gave me the technical, more than the technical basics, enough to get started and have a beginning and an end. Okay. And it's been interesting. I think I've taken in as much value with the content of the presenters and the speakers, and changing my ideas about not so much about addiction. That's pretty much out there in the public sphere, but recovery. Oh my!
Right. And why did you choose to volunteer at Dawn Farm?
Good cause, good people.
You just connected with the mission.
Sure.
And how do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Good to hear. So besides the education series, what other productions are you involved with Dawn Farm?
Oh, well, we have some things under development that we'll be meeting next week, as a matter of fact, about possibility of video treatments and offerings for teens using drugs, the possibility of streaming video for the for the Ed series.
Have more of an online presence.
Because this outreach is the idea. My gosh, CTN's wonderful. So, but we can add on services without diminishing CTN function at all. It'll make it even more important.
Right. So what goes into shooting these events? You know, where is it shot at? Like at least like the education series, like where is that shot at? And like how many cameras do you use? The lighting setup, the technical stuff.
Yes. The technical basics are, one camera is plenty.
Okay.
It's at the events are at a wonderful auditorium out at St. Joe's Hospital, just west of town. Very good people out there. And the big problem in shooting out there is the lighting, because the presenters work on a stage, and there are 100, 150 seats in the auditorium. Yeah. It's sizable. Some of the presenters have a style where they love to be close to the audience.
Okay.
Takes them out of the light. For a human being, as a human eye, no problem. But the video camera is just, oh my gosh, there's someone with no head and is talking. How are they talking? Where's his head? And so getting in front of the projected slideshows, things like that. But there are ways around that. We worked with St. Joe's people to adjust lighting, and really the principal challenge there is audio to get good sound.
Okay.
And I've had my mistakes and my little gaffes there for sure.
Well, so you mentioned audio was a challenge. Are there any other challenges? I mean, because you are shooting something, about sensitive topics. Addiction is not something that people really want to talk about all the time. Do you find that you have to, if it's like a former addict, that they don't want their name written down
Correct.
or anything
Yes.
like that? Can you just talk about some of those kind of
Yeah.
challenges?
Sure, yeah. Not a challenge as much as just operating procedures. We never film the audience.
Okay.
And took me a time or two to find a good camera position where I could cover the presenter and the stage. But you gotta have to assume that people sitting in the front row, interested parties, they may be clients.
Right.
That's why they're here. Good, but their voices in question and answer, or their appearance, their likeness, no. And we can avoid those things, and it doesn't hurt the video production at all.
Great. So I know you also have your own production company. Do you want to
I
talk a
do.
little bit about that? Who else do you volunteer at other events? For other organizations, or what kind of events do you shoot outside of volunteering for Dawn Farm?
Oh yeah, well thanks. I'll make the short pitch. Yes, I have Podium Video,
Okay.
and really it grew out of working with Dawn Farm on live productions. Some people say talking heads, but it's more than that. And I enjoy shooting events. There was a medical conference in Dearborn from the Michigan Head and Neck Pain Institute, others. And I do pro bono work when it comes along.
Great. And you also volunteer at CTN. You said that in the beginning. Do you have a favorite production memory? Something that happened here, or while you were shooting for Dawn Farm?
Well, I'd say the most remarkable memory was shooting for Dawn Farm when the presenter was doing just fine. The camera was rolling. I'm monitoring the audio in the headphones, and then my audio that's coming from presenter to the camera starts to begin muffled.
Okay.
Sound muffled, and I looked up there, and man was wearing a white shirt. The black clip, like this one, was, it's right there. I can see it. What could possibly be going wrong? Well, the audio was still there. We'll continue. Well, what happened, the clip was still there, but the microphone wasn't.
Oh, no.
It fell down.
Oh, no.
Somewhere down south. So sometimes we have little adventures like that.
Little hiccups like that.
So, yes.
Oh. Any advice out there for people who want to get a camera and start shooting events?
Oh yeah, just do it.
Just do it?
Just do it. Well, come here to CTN for one thing, for the workshop series. Very practical,
Okay.
very to the point, pragmatic. You don't even know how to spell camera to come here and be grounded in the fundamentals.
Well, thanks for the plug. Any
yes.
other reason why other organizations should use CTN services?
Sure, yeah. Well, Olivia and I can both speak to that, is for outreach.
Yep, absolutely. So often when I'm looking for new advertisement outlets for events, the cost of the advertisement would sort of diminish any additional attendance or income that it might bring, especially since there's no guarantee with advertisement. So free resources is huge. It's invaluable to what I do. Absolutely.
Great. And so last question, where can people go to learn more about Dawn Farm?
Oh yeah, Dawn Farm, we're pretty plugged in, so you can follow us on Twitter. You can search Dawn Farm, Facebook, Dawn Farm. Our website is www.dawnfarm.org, and there's no S on the end of that farm. That's a common
yes.
mistake.
Yeah,
Dawn Farm.
If you search farms, you'll be off in the cheese.
Yeah. And our office number is posted. We have a great intake team who can answer all your questions.
Okay. Well, thank you both so much for talking with me and about video production, and I wish you luck in the future. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future episodes. In the meantime, why not come in and experience all we have to offer for yourself? Visit us at a2gov.org/CTN. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at CTN Ann Arbor. And I want to thank our crew, Matthew Drake, Gage Shaughnessy, KJ Johnson, Robert Horn, Lana Henderson, and Kyle Wagner, Aaron Foster, and our producer, Alicia May. And I'm your host, Natalia Tejeda. See you next time.